What did you think when you were diagnosed with autism at 20 years old?
Everything kind of started to make sense. I could look back on my life and the pieces kind of started fitting together. And there was a lot of self-acceptance that came in the year following the diagnosis. A lot of healing. I no longer thought I was fundamentally flawed. And so that also helped me work on my mental health.
How did you feel you were fundamentally flawed before the diagnosis?
Everyone was born with these rule books on how to function in life and communicate and socialize. And I didn't have that. And I didn't know why I didn't have that. I wasn't sure if everyone else was just faking it too, or if I was like missing something. It just always felt like I couldn't find anywhere that I belonged. I always felt different. And that was really hard. It felt like there was something like inherently wrong with me and that everyone else could sense it, which of course I probably just like made up in my head. I don't think anyone thought there was anything like wrong with me, but I started having this core belief that there must be something very wrong with me because I wasn't into the same things as other people. I didn't get a lot of the social rules. I couldn't connect over the same things that the people my age were connecting over. I didn't like the same bands. It felt like everyone was given this manual on how to interact with the world and communicate, and mine was lost in the mail. I was trying to play catch up or fake it, which was really draining, and I often fell short of my expectations of how I should be able to fit in. So that caused a lot of self-hate. I struggled a lot with depression and anxiety in my teens, which luckily I don't anymore. Being diagnosed, I was able to start working on my mental health, and I don't really deal with depression anymore. I have down days, but everyone does.
When did you first realize that you're autistic?
I was 19 when I thought that I might be. So I, with your videos and a few other YouTubers, had stumbled upon videos of autistic women, many late in life diagnosed autistic women, and I found a lot of commonalities. I was really relating to these people, and I was like, maybe this is something to look into. So I asked my grandma one day, and she works in early childhood development, social work type place. And I asked her, do you think I'm autistic? Because I've been doing a lot of research and a lot of this is matching up for me. And she looks at me and she's like, you definitely are. And I look at her and I'm like, what? And she explains that when we were 3, we were evaluated for autism. And the evaluator said about me and my twin, I'm also an identical twin, that we were definitely autistic, but because we were female, smart, high functioning, and autism was a very stigmatized label, he didn't want to give us that diagnosis and instead put the term selective mutism on it, because we did qualify for selective mutism as well diagnostically. And it gave us many of the same services we would need without what he considered to be as stigmatized of a label. So I was officially diagnosed with selective mutism at age 3, even though it should have been autism, and sought out an official diagnosis at 19, which I got at age 20.
It sounds like it was a useful tool once you did get the diagnosis.
Yeah. I think understanding such a big part of yourself is always going to be useful. And it really is such a big part of me. Yeah, I have no idea who I would be if I weren't autistic. But yeah, understanding myself in a much deeper way has made all the difference with my mental health and with the way I view myself and the way I carry myself now and allow myself the permission to be and exist as I am. Without the label, we grew up having really negative ideas about ourselves or core beliefs and not a reason to explain them. There was no ability to accept ourselves because we did not understand ourselves. Whereas at least if you had the diagnosis, you have a starting point at which to work on accepting yourself.
If somebody wants to be your friend, what should they do?
I'd say get to know me before passing judgment. Give me an opportunity to find my words. Help me find a shared interest. Be honest. That's something I really crave. I like honesty. If you have an issue with me, I want to know it. If I've offended you somehow, I want to know it. I think honesty is the basis of all friendships. It opens up for clear communication. It helps you avoid future conflict and also mend current conflict.
What is it like for you to sit by someone and have a conversation?
I like it. I like connecting. I do get a bit worried that the words aren't going to come out right, or it's going to take me a second to find the right words. But I love talking to people. I love people in general, so any chance to connect is a fun time.
As an autistic person, are there any accommodations I can provide to you when we're having a conversation to make you more comfortable?
If I ask for you to restate a question, sometimes that can help me process it a bit better. It might help me form the sentences I'm looking for, because sometimes I kind of know what I want to say, but I'm having a hard time piecing them together based on the way the question was phrased. Time to process, sometimes it just takes me a moment to find my words. Not being offended if I don't make eye contact, because unless I know a person, unless I know them pretty well or I'm acting, I can't really do eye contact.
Is it easier for you if I also kind of just look into the distance? I find that you don't even need to make eye contact to have a conversation. All you really need to do is listen to the words.
Yeah. I don't have a particular preference as to whether other people make eye contact. A lot of the times, and I haven't been doing it during the interview because when I'm struggling to find my words, my eyes can kind of wander a bit in my attempt to find the words. But I do typically look at people's mouths. It kind of looks close enough to looking at their eyes.
Okay.
But at least it appears more like I'm actively listening, and which I am actively listening, but it helps the other person feel better in communicating with me.
Oh, I understand. You have to play by society's rules. But what you're saying is I can kind of do my normal thing and you've learned how to adapt to neurotypical people.
Yeah.
Does it take extra energy, though, to do that?
Not looking at the mouth. If I were to really force myself to make eye contact, it would be hard. I would probably not be able to focus on what you were saying because I'd be.
Are you looking at my mouth right now? I can't even tell.
Exactly.
Wait, I'm going to do it now. So right now I'm looking at your mouth. Does it look like I'm looking at your eyes?
Well, see, now I have to look at your eyes in order for me to tell you. No, it looks like you're looking at my eyes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I never knew that.
Yeah, it's a trick I learned a while ago.
I feel like they're so far apart, though. I feel like it would be easy to tell, but it looks like you're looking at my eyes. Okay, this is good information. To all our autistic audience, if you don't want to make eye contact, the mouth is right there.
Yeah.
Are there any other tips or tricks you've learned that kind of help you assimilate in a social environment?
Practicing facial expressions or in the mirror in order to match my body language to my affect. I would watch people, my peers, and I would go home and I would look in the mirror and I would practice my facial expressions. I would often put in music and try to match my facial expressions to the emotion of the song. And a lot of these were Broadway songs, so they involved acting while singing. So I would kind of look at myself in the mirror and act to the songs, and kind of figure out what fit and what doesn't.
In a social situation, is your mind always racing even when you're quiet?
Yeah, I'm often debating whether to say anything or not, or I'll judge what did come out of my mouth. There's a lot going on. Is my affect matching what it should? Is, how do I want to word this? How do I want to tackle or respond to what they said? Because I do try to choose my words carefully. I can tend to rant, and I do try to avoid that in day-to-day conversation.
What are some things neurotypical people do that confuse you?
Hidden meaning behind their words. I'm very straightforward. I'm very blunt. Hopefully in a kind way. I will always try to find a way to word honesty in a kind way. But I find with neurotypical people, what they say isn't necessarily what they mean, and they could say something nice, but there could be an undertone of meanness to it that I won't pick up on. I don't really get that. I don't get why people don't just say what they mean. I don't know why we would pretend to be nice. Inauthenticity really puzzles me.
Do you have an autistic radar? Can you tell if somebody else is autistic?
I don't know if my immediate thought is usually this person is autistic. Sometimes it is. Sometimes I meet someone I'm like, they gotta be autistic. But I do find that I'll make friends, and down the road in conversation, it'll come out that they're autistic. And I'm like, oh, so that's why we immediately connected. It's always the people I immediately connect with. There's no awkward getting to know each other period, or like, yeah, we like jump straight to being friends. Those people always end up also being autistic, whether or not I knew that upon meeting them.
Is it almost like your default is wanting to be closely connected to everyone, but most neurotypical people have some kind of wall up?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I really do love people. I love being around people. I try to find the positives in each individual person and just love them for the fact that they're a human being. So I love being around them. And the more friends, the better. Like, I like connecting. But I do find that with neurotypical people, there's either a much slower process of becoming friends, or like it's kind of like there's a wall and we're cut off at the acquaintance stage, where like we're friendly and we do talk when we're around each other, but we're not going to go out, like hang out outside of class or something.
Do you feel awkward in social situations?
Often. Luckily, I'm told it doesn't usually come across that way. It really depends on the environment. Like, I'm currently in college for acting and psychology. And when I'm in a theater environment, they're really kind of all of my awkwardness melts away because I have a shared interest and I know what I'm doing and I'm there and it's where I'm comfortable, and all these other people share the same interest. So it kind of takes away a lot of the awkward beginning stages of friendship or getting to know someone. You're spending a lot of time with the same people and it creates friendships very fast. So when I'm in my college theater, I don't feel very different. I would like to encourage anyone who, if parents are watching this, or if you yourself have selective mutism or autism, and you struggle with socializing or being able to communicate in certain settings, and that's something you want to get better at, it's important that you want to get better at that. Don't do things just because society says you should do this to be more socially acceptable. But if you want to do that and you have any interest in theater, I really suggest signing up for like a local acting camp or training of some kind. I was nonverbal outside of the house most of the time until I was about 10, or I shouldn't say nonverbal. I could talk, but I would go mute. And it wasn't until I started doing theater more and more that I started to be able to talk in social settings more and more. In places where I would used to physically not be able to talk, I would now be able to talk. I was able to make more friends. I was able to present in class. I was able to give my lines on a stage and be heard. And it helped me become a more confident person. It helped me develop a lot of social and communication skills. And it created a deep love and passion for something that I'm still doing. So I would recommend considering that for anyone out there that has either of those diagnoses and might want to work on communication.
How old are you?
I'm 25.
What is it like to be 25 and autistic?
Interesting. It's interesting bridging from young adult into now I'm gonna like really be an adult. You know, I was developmentally behind as a child. A lot of my younger adolescence and teen years were about catching up. And then I did catch up. Like by college, I was pretty much caught up in all areas. But I was still late to move out for the first time. My first job came a bit later than other people. I crave independence, but I do struggle to organize it in a way that I find easily achievable. Like I can do paperwork, but sometimes I need help beginning it so that I know where to start or else I get very overwhelmed. I can like pay rent, I can pay my bills, but I kind of need the initial help so that I don't just get overwhelmed by the idea of it and struggle to even find a starting point.
How has acting helped your communication skills?
It kind of was like exposure therapy in a way. I started off in a camp that you paid to go to, and kids would be cast no matter what. So I could stand there as still as a statue and be mute, and they'd still put me in it, which was important because there was no way I was ever going to be cast as the little autistic selectively mute child that I was. I was too rigid. I couldn't even say lines at first. But by being put on a stage and then doing that more and more, like by the second year I did that training program, I had lines and I could be heard when I said those lines. And then I went to a year-round theater training program and I was getting more lines and I was getting bigger roles and I was becoming louder and more confident and less stiff. I was gaining skills that not only are very important in a performance, but could translate into daily life. And as I grew confidence on a stage, I was able to take those skills and use them to ease the anxiety enough in other social settings that I could communicate. I still can't communicate as well in day-to-day life as I can on the stage, weirdly, but at least I can communicate verbally in all settings now. I very, very rarely go mute, and I have theater to thank for that.
How do you feel when you're acting?
Like everything makes sense. It's the one, all the social things suddenly make sense. And I'm able to do things I can't really do in day-to-day life. I can make eye contact. I know what to do with my body. I know what to do with my face. It's all planned out. There's blocking, there's a script. I can do script work. I can analyze a character. I can understand what's going on in their brain, understand their feelings better than I can interpret my own feelings. I can find, and I can still find commonality. Like, it's important to bring a piece of yourself to every character you play, otherwise it's going to read as fake. So every character I play has truth behind it. There is an aspect of me. But it's interesting how much more socially skilled I feel. Like, if you put me on a stage, that's where I'm comfortable. All of the anxiety melts away. I mean, I don't struggle too much with anxiety anymore, but new situations still present some anxiety, as they do with most people. And that anxiety flusters me a bit, and it causes my thoughts to speed up a bit more and my language skills to go down a bit. A lot of the things I've worked on socially, just due to heightened anxiety with something new, tends to decrease. And so then I become more self-aware of myself because I'm not coming across as socially skilled as I would like to. And then I get in my head and that causes more problems finding my words. It's kind of a slippery slope. I struggle with like too many side conversations going at once. So if it's a room full of people and they're all having their own conversations, I get overwhelmed really quickly. I also, if I don't have a person there that I have a close bond with, I become a wallflower. I'm not usually a wallflower, but if I don't have someone to help me bridge the social gap, I can struggle a bit to put myself out there unless I'm in an environment I'm comfortable with.
When there are a lot of different conversations going on, what's going through your mind?
Oh, it's like I can hear all the conversations at once. Like, they're all the same volume, and I can hear tidbits from all of them, and they're all happening. And it's hard to, like, filter out or tune into what I'm trying to listen to. I think auditory processing is the one I struggle with most as an adult. I don't struggle too much with the other sensory aspects anymore after therapy, but auditory is a big one. I struggle with too many competing noises.
Can socialization ever be effortless for you, or is it something that you're constantly having an internal dialogue about?
It feels very effortless when I'm around other autistic people. I don't put much effort into it because I don't worry about it. I don't worry about how I come across. There's a basic level of understanding and non-judgment that really frees up any type of expression, or like I don't feel like I have to apologize for myself or alter myself or censor myself. It's very freeing. And there are still neurotypical people I can do that with, depending on how close we are and how well I know them and how long I've known them. Sometimes you just vibe with someone even if they're neurotypical, and it feels safe. But for the most part, it does require a lot of effort on my end to socialize with neurotypical people. The stereotype with autism is that autistic people lack empathy, which is certainly true for some individuals. Empathy is a spectrum just like autism, and people can fall all over it. But there are also autistic people that fall into the hyper-empathetic category, which is where I fall. And while I can't really read facial expressions or tones of voices, I can't read body cues and social cues in that way, and get the feelings of others in that way. I sense the feelings of others. If I walk into a room and everyone's just having the worst day ever, it hits me like a brick wall, and it really impacts me. Or if I walk into a room and someone's in a really great mood, I immediately am lifted up.
Do you feel responsible for the emotions of others?
Yeah, yes. I think that might also be a trauma response because I have CPTSD as well. But I very much do. I'm a people pleaser, and historically I've put my own health at the expense of filling others' cups.
Is it okay if I ask you about CPTSD?
Yes.
What is that, and how does it impact you?
That's complex post-traumatic stress disorder, and it's PTSD, but it stems from either one type of abuse that happened over an extended period of time, or many different instances of abuse that happened over a length of time. Sorry, what was the second half of the question?
How does it affect you?
I had nightmares every night since the age of 3. I thought that was normal. I didn't realize that wasn't normal until I was a teenager. But those were really bad. I would have night terrors. A lot of anxiety. It affected my self-view a lot. I don't have memories of the earliest events at all, but like my body kind of would remember, so I would have certain physical reactions, a lot of stomach aches, a lot of, just not feeling well a lot of the time. People-pleasing fawning, that's a big symptom. I step down. I don't really, if there's conflict, I will give in. So as to avoid any possible further conflict. I also freeze, which is kind of possibly plays into the selective mutism. But yeah, my trauma responses are fawn and freeze.
What's it like to be autistic and have CPTSD?
It's interesting. I'm not entirely sure how they interact. I think the selective mutism is a big shared place where they meet. Because I freeze due to trauma, but I also have selective mutism And a lot of people with autism have selective mutism. I think the people pleasing plays into autism as well, because I want to be liked, I want to be normal, I want to belong. And I'll go to very big extents to like be kind and then like be charismatic so that I can belong and feel safe.
Do you find that you have a special connection with animals?
I love animals. Yeah, I mean, my initial childhood cat is deceased now, but oh God, I loved him. Anytime I was sad, he would just come right up to me. We've always had Persian cats. They're kind of like dogs. They love to cuddle. And I've always felt very connected to my pets. They've always brought me joy, No matter how bad of a day I have, if I come home, I put one of these guys on my lap, it's a good day.
Why is that?
Especially when I was younger, I think even when I failed to connect with people, I could feel a sense of connection to my pets. You know, they're a lot simpler. They're still living beings. They still got their own little inner worlds. There's still connection to be had, but it's a lot less complicated than human interaction. You just gotta be kind and they love you right back.
What is it like when you're interacting with a human and there's just so much nuance?
It's frustrating. I feel like I would accept anyone's authentic self. I don't feel like there's a need for it. Logically, I understand the benefits of portraying yourself a certain way, even if it's not authentic. I understand how that can aid you in society. But it's not something I necessarily like or agree with. I struggle with the nuance. I can't read it. I often don't realize that there's nuance until someone else informs me that there was nuance. And other people, because they're nuanced in their communication, often attribute hidden meanings or stuff to things I say when I've been very open about the fact that what I say is what I mean.
Do you find that you have the same interests as other 25-year-olds?
I spend 90% of my time around theater people. So it's hard. It would be hard for us not to have the same interests. I mean, we're there doing the thing we love. And we all love the art of acting. We're all studying it. So
what if you meet somebody who has no interest in theater, though?
Yes. If I'm on campus anywhere else, I would probably struggle.
Will you tell me about some of your special interests you've had over the years?
Yes, there's the vintage fashion, specifically 40s and 50s, 1940s and 50s. There is theater, which is the current one, specifically Shakespeare at the moment. And Doctor Who, which I still love, but it's not as big of a special interest as it used to be. That's another way I've kind of assimilated as I got older. I've kind of learned how to tell when it's okay to talk about something I'm interested in, and when it's not, as well as like kind of be able to test the waters and realize this person doesn't want to hear this. Like, I've gotten better at that. I do try to be two-sided. I make it a point to ask other people lots of questions as well.
What is the most important thing other people can understand about you?
That I'm trying my best. That I try to be kind. I wake up every day and I tell myself that my goal is to love humanity a bit more than I did the day before. And if I can do that, if I can walk into any space and love people with where they're at, that's what's important to me.
What advice do you have for a young kid who just found out they're autistic?
I want them to know that there's nothing wrong with them. Society might try to tell them there's something wrong with them at points, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with being autistic. that their difference in neurotype is needed in the world. The world would be so boring if we all were the same neurotype. Autism adds so much colors to the world. It adds new perspectives, and their perspective is important, even if it's different. Autistic voices belong in all places where other voices belong. Speak your truth. Know that there is nothing inherently wrong with you. Try to live authentically. I know that's going to be hard, but the world's going to try to beat you up enough. Don't beat up yourself. You might have to do a lot of advocating. Don't be afraid to advocate for yourself. You deserve to advocate for yourself. You deserve accommodations. You deserve to exist exactly as you are without feeling the need to mask. And I hope that having that diagnosis helps you accept and love yourself fully and deeply.